All right, once again, thank you all for joining. We really appreciate it, taking the time, joining us for the call here. We do have a couple of things on the agenda, which we will go through today. So we will be starting with a couple of demos. This will include the Seed Farm app, a demo of how it works. This will be done by Frankie. Thereafter, we'll jump into showcasing what the focus group has been testing. We did the Weed Farm GameFi app test, the alpha test, the closed alpha with certain members from the Cinepass group. We got some really valuable feedback, so we appreciate all of you that participated. We have been taking action and moving forward with updating the UI and the minor fixes that were required in the feedback that was proposed by the group. Followed by that, we will showcase what your blueprints will look like in the character viewer. We will show you just a couple of them today, but there will be a final reveal later down the road. Right after the blueprints, we will display and discuss the roadmap of what's coming next and the dates on the roadmap. And finally, we will take the community questions on Discord stages. I hope that was all clear. Tiki, all clear?
Can you repeat where you shared the Twitch link for people that maybe missed it before?
We will share the Twitch link in the general chat, or Tiki, if you like, you can share it in the better yet in the community channel, the community events channel, just so people don't chat over it.
Yeah. Share it in both. I just shared it in general chat.
Awesome. Then you can post it in the community events channel, and people can just redirect there. Yeah, somebody else from the community, if you'd like to raise your hand and just confirm that, you can view the Twitch channel and it's working well for you, we'll move forward there.
It looks okay.
Okay.
I can see the channel.
Okay, perfect. I guess we'll move forward with that. Thank you.
Yep.
All right, Frankie, we can take this off with the Seed Farm demo and where we have it. And you can probably unmute yourself on the meets.
Okay. Can you see the screen?
Yes, we'll just put it. Yeah, it's also visible on Twitch for us.
Okay. So basically, this is a restyling of the core pool.
Sorry, sorry, Frankie, I'll just help you. I just saw a chat. I don't think you guys have to log in for that on Twitch. You can just click on the link and you will be able to view the screen. Yogi, I just saw a comment there. Sorry, Frankie. Okay, let's take this forward.
Yeah. So this is it's the new style of the core pool. You can see it. There is now the volume of everything that has been staked, all the parameters, and the look and feel has changed. I can make an example of a stake right now just to show you how it does work. You can. It's a little bit more flexible. You can choose a percentage of your. Don't look at my the amount that I have, because this is a test account. If I had all those things, I would be very happy. But anyway, so when you continue with the process, it just asks you to approve the spend. It's very minimalistic, but it works. Follow the process, and when it's finished, it should happen very quickly because we are on a testnet. So. Okay, now it does the actual staking.
So this is going to be the updated UI.
Yeah, this is just an update UI. I'm not going to show everything. It's just to go to show you that we did a restyling of the entire staking app.
Yeah.
You see now it's completed, and the vesting, for example, I can see all my vestings wherever I have there, etc. And so inside the seed farm, it is the one on which we did more changes. Is something that a few people have seen because we made some focus group for that. But I think that many people haven't have never seen it. And basically works that you can. It's this farm that is necessary to generate seed, and you need seed for the game. And so how you generate them, staking some asset on Ethereum and getting the seed on the other chain, and that is it creates a lot of complication technologically because you need to use a bridge. So when you go to generate Sinner, for example, I can stake Sinner, or I can swap a Sinner, or I can stake Sinner Pass, and I can stake Blueprint. This is there are many possibilities there. I can show you basically how does it work. For Sinner, you have very similar to how it works for the when you stake on in the core pool. You just stop an amount, and you can see which is the estimated seed rewards that you will get at the end, based on the amount and based on how long you lock. And consider you can unlock before then the locking time expires, but that will have a penalty. Okay, but you can do that. So it's the interface is very similar to the core pool, so it's easy to use. For the Sinner Pass is slightly different. Tell me.
Sorry, Frank, I just want to jump in here really quick and say all the numbers that y'all are seeing over here in the community, these are all placeholders just for demo purposes.
Yeah.
And final parameters
Yeah,
will...
this is all testnet, so it's don't take any number as a real number, okay? If I do here my 50%, you know how many sinners they are. This is not a real number, okay? It's so if I put something more reasonable, it's in this case what you see. You have just different alerts. It depends on the fact that the app is the seed swapping a scenery works in a very different way than swapping that staking scenery. But I guess that eventually the other people will explain better all these things later. But for now, I just want to demonstrate how it works. For example, for the staking a pass, you can stake a pass or a blueprint, and there are two ways to stake it. You can stake to get a multiplier on everything that you are getting in the pool, or as an equivalent. If you stake an equivalent, for example, now he has to get my IDs from the blockchain. This is a little bit slow because if you remember, when we made the Sinner Pass, we made it not enumerable. So that is a technical detail, but that makes slower to query the contract to get the IDs. But anyway, you see, this is what happens. You can see all your token, and you can decide, oh, I want to lock it for this time, and this is the equivalent in seed that you will get at the very end. So you know exactly how many seed you will get, and of course, the more is the time, the more you get, and so this is basically the look and feel. Now let's do an example just to show you how the process works, because the process is not obvious. Now let's say that I want to stake this Sinner, 1000 Sinner, to get this number of seed. So when I do the process, this unfortunately is a little bit slow, but I can explain why. The first things, as always, you need to approve the spending. And you see there are 5 steps that need to be followed to do this. And this is why, because we do some transaction on Ethereum, and those transactions are to, you see, now he has approved, now he's doing the actual staking. Is when he interacts with the smart contract and does the staking. So now that he does the staking, we wait for the approval of the transaction, but that's not enough, because the bridge must be 100% positive that the transaction has been completed. Because you can easily, I don't know how much you know about how the basic blockchain works, but when you make a transaction on Ethereum, that transaction is confirmed by some nodes. And in any moment, it's possible that transaction is reverted because there is right now is still a proof of work Ethereum. Okay, despite all the buzz, whatever, it's still a proof of work. So the longest chain win. That means that it's possible that after 2 minutes, even if a transaction looks fine on a MetaMask, the transaction is reverted because it's not put in that block. So since we are doing a cross-chain staking where you stake Sinner on Ethereum and you get seed on BNB, what happens is that we need to be 100% sure that that transaction cannot be reverted. So this is why the bridge can take up to 10 minutes to do this job. Usually it takes less. So I think that he normally put 3-4 minutes, but we have to wait. There is no way to speed up this part. But you understand why it's so important that we wait, because after then the bridge has communicated to the other chain, hey, there is these things that happened on Ethereum, and now you can proceed. The other chain will proceed. So if the transaction is reverted on Ethereum, there is no way to fix the problem. And that is why the bridge must wait to have full confirmation. I expect that with the merge of Ethereum, this should become much faster, because the proof of stake will be the finality of the block will be much faster. So the entire process should become much faster. But right now, as long as we have a proof of work, the process still stays slow. So let's see if this happens. If not, Devansh, if you want to say something in the meantime, while we wait for the bridge to complete the process.
Yeah, for sure. No worries. I think even last time this was a question that did come up repetitively in the focus group test when we were first testing the V1 closed alpha of the seed farm. And Frankie just explained everything. I would have said is basically this. Unfortunately, this is nothing that we can do as the platform, or nothing that our contracts can do. This is all based on the validators, especially since we're going cross chain. Though cross chain does bring a lot of efficiencies on the BNB side, such as lower transaction costs, faster transactions, but the step one over here might take a little longer. But hey, the merge should fix all of that, hopefully.
Yeah, I'm quite sure that from what I've read, in general, proof of stake is much faster, because you don't need to. It doesn't work with the system of the longest chain, wherever. So it's it can be very, very, very fast. It depends on how it's implemented exactly, and so I would expect that the finality. You see, now he has finished it. I guess that you cannot see my MetaMask, but he just asked me to switch the network. You see that here is the progress moved on the third. So when I approve that, I switch the network. Now he's loading. Now he has moved on the other chain. For testing purposes, we are not using BSC. We are using Fuji on Avalanche because it's faster for the testnet. And so that is my final step when I go to finalize the stake and I click complete my transfer. This part is very important, and nobody refresh the page or close the page. This is critical. It's a fast operation. Now I'm confirming now, okay? So you can see it is quite fast, but during this transaction, this page should not be refreshed or closed. You see, it was fast, because if someone refreshes the page in that moment, the system think that has not completed and try to complete the process forever. Okay, and produce an error because the process has already been completed. So if you try to repeat the transaction, that will fail. So anyway, this is the process, how it works. And there is the vesting is the opposite process, where you basically go to see all the things that you get there, and you can, depending on all the parameters there are, it's quite complex because there are many assets involved, and that I'm sure that the team will produce good documentation to explain all those things. There will be many parameters, something that you can unstake now, something that you have to wait, you know. But this, I think, this is most of it. We haven't finished right now the vesting, so this is why I'm not showing you the page for to do the opposite process. So when you unstake, basically. It's working, but it's not perfect. So I prefer not to show it. We'll be ready in a couple of days.
Awesome. Thanks, Frankie. Appreciate it. I hope that was pretty clear, at least on the what he was displaying visually and by audio. I know there's probably going to be a lot of questions, but all of these questions will be answered by the documentation that we provide, and we'll be there in the community to support with anything else that you might want to know once the app is launched.
Yeah, and by the way, there is an autoplay that does all the instruction inside for anything that you can do. So it should be quite clear.
Cool. Awesome. Thanks, Frankie. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
So sharing really quick. Cool. We will jump into the next quick demo showcase, which was the V1 closed alpha test of the GameFi app, i.e., the first part of the weed farm app. This is where the staking and the farming of resources happens. You are able to stake your farms, your wheat farms, on the turf on this app. This app will later expand once we open it for the V2 of the closed alpha group testing. Part of the card battler will also live on this app. But for today, we'll only speak about the farms, the turf, the marketplace of how you can list and rent/lease your assets, and the claim functions. Tiki, if you can confirm everything is still visible on Twitch and we're looking good before I start.
Yeah, everything's looking good. Good to go.
Okay, cool, awesome. So basically, this is what the turf UI will look on the weed farm interface to start with. As you must have already gone through the articles of what different turfs are being posted, what kind of different farms are being posted. I do have a couple of different samples here today. Won't go through all of them just for time reasons, but let's start with this one, the residential turf. Each turf has its own area that you can utilize and farm upon. Once that area is utilized and all the farms have been staked, you cannot stake more farms on it. Some examples of the farms would be, as you already know, different levels. Over here, we have a couple of different farms, commons, uncommons, epic, and legendary farms. The difference between the two, the top row and the bottom row, is the top farms are staked, i.e., the systems in the contract will recognize them and they can be used in the game. The bottom row farms are in your account, but they're not staked. So for you to execute and be able to start farming, you first have to stake it. So let's start with the legendary farm. Once you click on the farm, you will be able to see a lot of different attributes of the farm. All of these attributes are very important, and you can use these attributes to devise different strategies based on what you are trying to get out of staking this and farming these. So let me just go ahead and stake this on the UI first. Now, after staking, you will notice that I have a whole new farm, a legendary farm, level 1. The reason they do say level 1 is because it is there is potential for you to upgrade your farms all the way up to level 10. With each level increase, your attributes get updated as well. And again, you can use the strategies to see what level suits you best for what you're doing. Okay, now I can go further, and when it says deployed, this means it has not been deployed on turf. As you all know already, that for you to utilize your farm and to generate the resources, in this case the in-game weed, you have to utilize the turf. So you either own the turf or you can lease the turf. The lease durations, we do have a marketplace tab in the bottom section over here, as you can see. I'll get to that. That's where you'll be able to lease, rent, buy, sell turf. So let's go ahead. Let me deploy this on turf. It gives us the option of which turf to deploy on. As you can see, I'm already testing out and renting turf from other folks over here. This one's rented for 2 days. My other one's rented for 7 days. I'll go and choose my residential piece of turf and deploy it on it. Once that is done, it should appear on my land, and there we go. I can zoom in there. These are minor details that we had for the closed alpha test. A lot of optimization is being done. This is based upon all the feedback and additional team feedback that we've been going through for the past month. And you will see an updated UI as well for the Wheat Farm app. This is the UI that the focus group utilized to test the closed alpha, but the updated version will be released once we go live. Okay, let's dive into the farm. Once I click on the farm, your wheat farm is NFT on its own, but what we've done is we've also introduced fractional farming. So you can either plant in each one of your greenhouses, or you can lend out individual greenhouses or multiple greenhouses as you prefer. This brings in a lot more flexibility for the players, for the community, and overall for the catalyst. As you know, the catalyst is another big section in the Mobland ecosystem, as we mentioned earlier. So I'll just go ahead and plant one greenhouse to start with. Once that is done, it starts growing. For demo purposes, again, the time it just shows right under 10 minutes, but this can be set by individual farm owners or leasing out the farms. This other section is the turf, very similar to the farms. You have two different rows. The top row, just like the farms, it means it's staked and it's ready for the game. The bottom row, they're pieces of turf that are in your account but are not staked. The marketplace is another interesting and one of my favorite parts over here. The UI again is being updated based on feedback. A lot of clarity, a lot of how to guide pointers will be added here. So it'll be very easy for you to walk through the whole process. Right now, I know there's a lot of numbers, a lot of things going on here, but once you get the flow, it's a very quick and simple process, especially after we've optimized the UI. So let's go on farms. I would like to lease out my farm. So I can go on the publish tab. I can choose whether turfs or farms. And this time I want to lease out a farm, so then I can go and choose the farm. Now, the only reason you're seeing one farm over here that I can lease out is because I've only deployed the single legendary farm on this turf. If I have multiple farms deployed on multiple turf, you will see different options that will appear over here. Now I can go in here, and as you knew it, there's fractional lending within your NFT. I cannot lend the first greenhouse because I'm already utilizing it, growing it. Now I can select individual greenhouses, or I can also select all. We do have shortcuts. There's a whole shortcuts tab that I haven't displayed yet, but that makes everything a lot faster, where you can just select all or deselect all. But we also want to provide individual flexibility just in case you don't want to lease out all the greenhouses. So I've selected 3 greenhouses, choose. Now there's a couple of other options over here. You can choose the rent duration, i.e. how long you want to lease it out for. I'll choose 1 day. You can choose the starting price of your seed. I'll put 1,000 seed. You can put the minimum price. I'll just leave it at 1,000. The reason we have a minimum price over here and price reduction is because you can start off your listing at a certain price, and it can reduce in value every a fixed amount, for example 1 hour or every 2 hours, until anybody in the market feels okay, that's the right place for them to get in, and they can get in and execute that lease agreement, and they can utilize your farm to start farming. The owner revenue, this is the owner split. This is what the farm, whatever is generated on the farm, a percentage of that is distributed to the turf owner as well. And I can put this as 10%. You can go all the way up to the highest percentage that you want, max, but of course that will hinder your strategies. 10%, and I can just go publish, and this appears. Now, this is my dashboard for the farm. You as the leasee or the renter can go in the marketplace as well and can view all the different farms that are available from different players, from different users. Based on whatever is most suitable for you, you can execute the transaction, and you can start utilizing the farm for the duration that the lease agreement states. Once it's completed, you can claim your weed. I do not have any claim to yet because it's still farming. But basically, you can claim all, you can claim individually, and that will be sent to your account and wallets, and you can utilize that for all the utilities as we've previously mentioned within the Mobland ecosystem. TK, I just want to check in everything was clear so far. Still can hear and view everything.
Sir, everything's good on mine.
Okay, awesome. What I'll do next is I'll jump into the demo version of the character viewer. This will just display a couple of the blueprint characters and what they look like in the character viewer. Now we just want to make sure everything we're showing here is just for demo purposes today. This does not accurately reflect everything that will be revealed in the upcoming days. There's going to be different animations. There's going to be different posters of all the different characters. But I'll start with potentially 8 characters today. Let me switch the tab for you. All right, I switched that. So he should reflect on Twitch now. Awesome.
Yeah,
Awesome.
all good.
Okay, thank you. So this is some examples of what your blueprint characters will look like. Again, a lot of this is in the test phase, so ignore the links, the descriptions. The UI is also currently getting updated, but these are this is one of the characters. There's going to be different animations, backgrounds. You will be able to customize your characters down the road, add weapons, clothing, upgrade it. You can also add different emotes. This will be added add an added feature as well. You can make them dance. There's gonna be emotes that we've built inbuilt. There's gonna be emotes that third party, i.e. UGC and community creators will also provide, and we can add those emotes to the character viewers. So this demo is basically 8 different characters that shows different weapons, different clothing styles, different gangs. As you can see over here, we have the combat attributes based upon your BPs, blueprints. Then you also have the metadata that will show you the different traits. This was the combat, the management, the charisma, and the body. We just parse this out just for more for efficiency as you're going through a bunch of different blueprints. As we know, some community members have quite a few, and you can also use the character viewer to browse different blueprints. Excuse me. Let me see one of my favorite characters. Yeah, this guy's pretty badass. As we previously mentioned, that the blueprints will have pretty high fidelity once they're revealed, and you will be able to use them. Your blueprints will initially be used in the card battler on the Weed Farm app and the UI that you just saw previously. After that, your blueprints will eventually be able to be utilized in open world real-time PvP, and this is exactly how your characters will look like, minus the all the upgrades and the clothing that you can definitely add on within the real-time PvP. All right, let me jump in to the next part of the agenda, which is displaying the roadmap. And I think this is something you all have been waiting for. TK, I'll just switch my tab out really quick. Sorry, just give me a minute. No, I did have that. Sorry, let me pull it up ASAP. Right. So I have shared that. Let me know when it's visible for you on Twitch, Tiki. Awesome. I think I can view it there. Sorry, Tiki, can you confirm it's visible because it keeps going in and out?
Sorry, it was muted. It might be best if you can make it full screen though. Does that have a little background?
I
I think it's
think
definitely visible, but
there we go.
it's good.
Okay, awesome. Well, this is what we have currently lined up for the roadmap. I know you all have been waiting for the dates, so we'll start with the seed farm launch, the seed farm demo app that you just saw late September, so this month. That will lead into the community GameFi alpha test with the updated UI. We will, we would love the V2 of the alpha to be tested by the community, by the wider group. We already had one test with the Cinepass group. After that test is completed, we will have the blueprint reveal. After the blueprint reveal, we will share some teasers of the blueprints being utilized in the open world, which is the upcoming module. Late November, we will have the wheat farm and the turf offerings. We will share more details on that as well. That will lead into this, the card battler, and which was the GameFi PvP phase, as we mentioned previously. We will have additional demos in the coming month, this month or later this month, closed alpha as well of the card battler. This will be done with the Cinepass group. After that, later into October, we will open that for the community GameFi alpha test as well. December, we will integrate additional IP and universe integrations. As you know, we will have multiple modules tying into Mobland. There's going to be interoperability, cross collaboration of communities, and utility of different assets. Phase 3 leads us into 2023. This is where we'll have the real-time PvP, the closed alpha test. This is what the community we discussed with you a couple of times. This will be the open world. The Mafia Metaverse. This will be for the community test, very similar to the closed alpha test, but for the wider community. We'll have the mobile version alpha test. Then phase 4 will lead into Guild Wars Global Tournament, and then interoperability across the multiple universes that we're integrating into the ecosystem. All right. That's what we had for the day. Would love to jump back into the Stages channel and take any questions that you might have. Tiki, we can stop the stream whenever you're ready. Awesome.
It's good. The stream, just under the stream.
Cool. Thank you. Hey, Roy, everything clear? You still here?
Yeah, it's fantastic. It's it's great to finally put in front of everybody that for all the hard work behind the scene. And I'm pretty sure there are more hard work we are not ready to show yet.
Yeah.
But it's not Roman is not built in one day, and for all the interoperability and the bigger scale of the world to be ready requires a lot of heavy lifting to lay a solid foundation.
Yep. Awesome. I'm very excited to share the other parts of the roadmap besides everything that we've shared here. And I think the coming weeks and months we'll be able to share that, especially starting with the Cinepass closed alpha group and then opening it up to the wider community. But yeah, it was interesting to squeeze everything that's been happening behind the scenes within the past 30-40 minutes, so we really had to like cherry pick a lot of things, but we can definitely talk for multiple hours and keep demoing. But we'll absolutely move forward and take some questions here. Anybody want to raise hands and come on stage? Please feel free to do so.
Yeah, and also not only about the products and the roadmap, but also the current status of the industry. Happy to discuss that as well.
All right, I see a couple of hands. Let me stop inviting on stage. It was interesting to move from stages to Twitch and stream there. Like Discord really needs to like start screen sharing, but
They need to acquire Twitch.
thanks community for following through and sticking by and going through the presentation. What's up, Yogi?
Yeah, that's okay.
Oh man, I don't know if you can guys hear me.
Yep, loud and clear.
Oh, great, awesome. Yeah, so wow, I'm so impressed by the latest development and everything. Wow, amazing, guys.
Thank
So
you.
happy to hear Roy Liu here on stage because initially Roy was the man that I followed actually, because I can feel star energy, star vibration, and I got a couple of multimillionaire friends in real life, and this is the same vibe, I can feel it. So really honored and appreciate a lot, coming by.
Awesome.
So I had a few questions. Like the main question was about the NFTs themselves and whether because we have asked this question for a few times. I guess we have had different answers to this question. So whether or not the changes on the NFT, for example, if we level up the farm and a farm, yeah, for example, if the farm becomes a level 10 farm, will the levels transition upon a resale of that farm, meaning that if I sell a level 10 farm, will the buyer receive also a level 10 farm? And same goes with the blueprints. For example, if the blueprint has been raised to a higher power score, will the power score be transitioned upon a resale?
Yeah, so I'll take this one. So the blueprints, actually, all the NFTs based on the upgrade abilities. Once you've upgraded it, that's the new status of the NFT, and the metadata gets updated as well. So when you do sell or when you do transfer the asset to a new owner, or wherever you were transferring it to or selling it to, all those attributes are current.
Awesome. And what about the gears and stuff like that? Will that also be attached to the NFT?
Yeah, because it's all updated on the metadata. So yes.
That is just amazing. All right. So yeah, that is number one question for me was, but the second question is then, how do you guys, because you came up with a really kind of, you set up dates or more or less dates, for the roadmap now. And how do you guys think it will all go together with the rest of the market? Apparently, you guys have a vision upon the market, or is there any like several types of strategies according to the how the entire market is going to go like? And because we don't know if we have another drop down or if there is more pain coming and so forth. And how do you guys
Yeah.
reflect upon
Yeah,
that?
I think it's a very good question. I mean, we can never time the market. And that's a reality. The reason why we set a time in these roadmap in that is because we've been doing a lot of background work, and we think by that time there's some of the work can start to get released to the community, and community needs to get engaged. We're not necessarily doing everything according to the market because it's just, if we know that well, if we know the market that well, we might as well just focus on the market. It's a financial product, but we're not. The thing is, fundamentally, we do this because we believe in the trends into the mass adoption in the metaverse, and we think, given the things we're building behind the screen, it's time to get more shared to the community, get more love, get more feedbacks, and iterate from there. We cannot always build and build without get community iterations. The crypto Web3 versions of the games or metaverse is definitely harder to soft launch, given parts of that would be very much on the smart contract, and liquidity is also a pinch for the test. So to launch a proper product, we need to get in front of the community. People really love the product and they're passionate about it, and the feedbacks and iterate from that on. So expectation is not going to be like, it's going to be everything bug free. It's not going to be everything perfect. There's no such thing as perfect. We will keep on like getting as close as we can to the perfect, right? We still want to be the very first GTA in the industry for Web3, and we started from a more strategic version of it. But man, what I can tell is, like, you can see the character builder or character viewer, and all the different moves. The thing we're building behind the screen, it's just mind blowing. Now, like, market is definitely uncertain. There's a lot of uncertainty there. We tried to dodge the bullet as much as we can, but to a certain time, we need to deliver, and we just need to keep on iterating, and that's why we set the goal like that.
I hope that answers it for you, Yogi, and the community. I'm not sure we can hear. So, Fairies on top, can you hear us? Ah, there we go. Yep. How's it going? Uh-huh. Sure. So, great question. We did state, as we said in the presentation, that all the numbers and the values that you see throughout the whole presentation and demo, they do not accurately represent the final parameters and values. This is just purely for demo purposes. So once we get closer to the dates, we will release strategically based on the articles, and this will be posted publicly on our socials, on Gravity, as we always do, and in Discord, the final parameters of what each of the stake will represent. That's correct. That's correct. You're welcome. All right, let's get a few more folks in here. Okay, gotta get Tate up there. There we go.
Good evening, gentlemen. Thank you for letting me speak.
Sure, welcome. Hope you're well.
I know you're a big fan of me. No, I'm just kidding. So I got a few questions. First question, on the roadmap, it says GameFi is in September. No, it says late September seed farm, but it says mid-October community GameFi alpha test. So what's the difference between the seed farm live and the GameFi alpha test here?
Great question. So the Seed Farm Live is the Seed Farm generator where you can actually start utilizing your Sinner on the Ethereum side and your assets on the Ethereum side, and including blueprints. You can start staking and start the process of generating your seed in preparation of that seed being used in the GameFi part, which is staking on the wheat farms and generating the in-game wheat. The community GameFi alpha test in October, aiming for it to be mid-October, that will be the demo and the showcase that we just shared today of getting your hands on the wheat farm and being able to stake it and utilize them, just so the community understands the process. And once we go live, you're all ready to jump right into it. Does that answer it?
Yes, sir. Second, I got like a couple of questions. So my second question is marketing the Snoop Dogg farms. You didn't mention any marketing when you want to start it to. It says late November wheat farm and turf offering. So will there be any marketing in that period with the Snoop?
Of course, there's going to be a lot of marketing included, and this is what, now that we are geared up and we have the dates locked in, now we strategically launch marketing based on different regions that we're targeting, different demographics as well. So we do have a whole go-to-market structured plan as well.
Yeah, just so you know, there are more and more since we started our collab with Snoopside this April. We got more inbound requests to integrate their miscellaneous other cannabis brands into our space. And also there are other Web3 projects who want to collab with us in terms of the cannabis farming digitally. It's kind of a super funny, and of course the market is not that good, and it's wise for us to dodge the bullet during the paradigm, and we will time it in a way like when we kick it off we kick it off the campaign during the launch in the farms and so on and so forth, right? Because we're super excited about this partnership. I think it's super dope, especially it's the very first time we can introduce this culture into the Web3. And while we were in NFT NYC, what do we witness over there, frankly, is all NFT holders, they do two things majorly. One is party, and two is just smoke weed around, especially New York. And we're so excited. We see firsthand and physically breathing out to understand the atmosphere. I think it's a market that makes us to really take a deep breath and breath in this and heads down to build a solid foundation. Like all the cross chain thing that you can see over there, man, I've never seen that before. The whole thing about thinking about whole ecosystem as a broad chain, a crypto ecosystem as a whole, rather than focusing on one narrow-minded chain like Solana, Avalanche, like Binance or whatever. I think that is, how we see the industry, like a 10,000 feet level, right? Like connecting the culture, connecting the real need behind the scene for the people, for the community, but also reflected in a way like a interoperable way so that everybody can be interconnected. So yeah, I'm pretty excited about that. Yeah, and to your question, yep, I think there's a lot of things happening when we are launching on the wheat farms and so on and so forth,
That
right?
sounds great.
And also another thing to note to that is we start as like a strategic, like a strategy game as for people to move their RMBs and so on, to move their farms, so on and so forth. The another iteration will coming down early next year will be the real. I mean, it might not be exaggerated, but it's a real GTA-ish kind of a feel, where you have a real-time like PvP, shooting, raiding, grabbing. We were having a lot of internal iterations and brainstorm, debating whether we should have a async versus sync, meaning is it real time or just take it to, different time zone. The conclusion to that is we kind of feel, given it's heavy social, we tentatively to want to make it a real time. And to build an engine behind that to make it a real time is a different beast. But the real time means that people can fight together, raid each other farms real time. I.e., you just need a guard or hire someone to guard your farm, get all your wheat to storage, make sure people don't steal something from that. And that we think the conflicts creates a lot of more social activities as well as economy activities as well. Now, I mean, we're here the long term, so that's why we feel like a high solid foundation is always the most important thing.
I'm super excited over that long answer. I'm very excited to see some marketing about this project with Snoop and all this. I just want to say to the community after the AMA, I would like to see more in the voice chat. We can talk about this AMA. And the last question to Metamafia. Are you ready, Metamafia, for this question?
Don't hurt me. Let's go.
Are you a top G?
No, sir. I'm just a meta mafia. You know.
I say thanks for letting me up. Have a blessed day.
Cheers. Thanks for your questions, man. Take it easy. Hey, Havoc, how's it going?
Good morning, gentlemen. I'm very well, thank you.
Awesome. Good to have you.
Just a single question from me. In light of the recent delays, will there be any delays to the upcoming Sinner vestings?
Sinner vestings of what you've already staked?
No, I apologize. Vestings as per to the original roadmap. Things such as the IGO, team vestings and whatnot.
So far, no, we do not have that. Everything is on track, and I don't think we intend to change that. But if anything does come up, everybody will get a prior notice. But no, nothing of the sort at the moment.
Fantastic, thank you.
Cheers. All right, I see a couple of other hands I've invited to speak. Let's get them up here. And anybody else that have questions, please raise your hand, and we're happy to have you. We'll kick off with Cyan. I think I hit Biz, and he's not coming on stage, and then I'll hit Spacey up there. All right, Cyan, take it away.
Yo, thanks for the demo, guys. That was pretty sweet. And congrats on like getting all that done. So my question is like, so I guess like since like 8 months ago or like 9 months ago when I was kind of getting into the project and like seeing the roadmap and hear you guys talk about the vision and everything, there's like been a lot that's probably changed, I'm assuming. So I guess I'm curious, like, what's the main, like, what's the biggest surprise you've been hit with in the last like 8 months? And also like any pivot or like interesting thing that happened that you go, okay, like our plan was like a year from now to be doing like this feature or to like be going after this like market, and then like like what's the biggest adjustment you've made, I guess, in this last like year? I'm curious. Cause
That's
like
a very
I mean, I'm
that
assuming
is a
it
very
didn't stay
yeah,
the
that's a
same.
very good question. That's a very good question. And you know, the bear market just definitely, you know, caught a lot of people off guard. That was the biggest that's the biggest of surprise. And a lot of strategy, timeline, product strategy, business strategy, marketing strategy need to adapt accordingly. Let me get in a few so you know, everybody's here understand the crypto market. We see as a common word, people say the word as Ponzi-nomics. This common term that people normally say, that term only becomes effective during the bull market, right? And during the bear market, you know, it's barely working, right? What I'm talking about is during the bear market, we need to adapt to a different strategy. And for especially for this time, we don't know how long the bear market will last. So apparently, marketing under this climate may not take any effect or getting any reactions. And given we've been having a lot of discussions and talking to partners, like internally, doing a lot of research. We see overall on the general like a primary market perspective and a general trending perspective, metaverse is definitely the way to go. Considering L1, L2, super packed, not necessarily too much innovation or a big differentiator versus DeFi is getting very much under under regulation. If you look into the blockchain in terms of all these sectors as an industry, we see a metaverse as sort of growth. With that, we were thinking, okay, now in this market, should we just invest in more in terms of our own foundation of the technology and product stack? And from that perspective, we've been building multiple. Today, what we showed you is just the tip of the iceberg, but you know the things behind the scene, supporting the real time, assuming is an MMO, and also can interconnect to each other and export in the different NFTs and also different game mechanics is one of the key product strategy and decision we need to make to see what helps a metaverse project to sustain the both bull and bear. I think the answer is pretty straightforward. You know, during the bull, there requires to be, you know, a different mechanics over there. During the bears, there's need to be sustainable cash flow as well, right? But with that, you know, it takes quite some changes comparing to 2020, 2021 product design. People seeing front X, people seeing step up. You know, you can see quick pump and dump versus you can see what can be done, you know, sustainable. And in this market, in metaverse market, not like in L1, there's ABCD players or kings. Not like DeFi, there were several kings. In metaverse, there's no kings. I think the issue, a lot of people, a lot of developer came into the metaverse thinking, I think two extremes. One extreme of the cases where, we think metaverse is Web3 project, so we can just pump and dump it. Or there a lot of people thinking, oh, Web3 metaverse is a gaming project, so I designed a proper game as XYZ years and X years, Y amount of production costs, Z amount of marketing costs, and ship it. So I don't think either would apply. It's just really in the middle. We've been talking to a lot of it, like GMs of EAs or GMs or whatever, like these veteran industry veterans are coming to us at Web3 trying to understand. My friend Gabe the other day, he just announced his project as well, and we've been closely discussing these ideas and how to apply the strategy in the in the bears, especially if we don't see the when's the exit of the bear. The way I see the bear market in general is very good for games. I've been through the 2008, 18, and all these bear markets. Every time there's a bare overall macro economy, gaming in general does very good. What it means is people would want to participate in the game that can distract and get entertained, get immersed, and get amused. Now, I think the world is different right now in 2022, 2023, and going forward. The way people want to interact together, especially in the metaverse scene, is not just only getting entertained. I think that we're here more than that. I mean, if you want to get entertained, there are multiple games for you to pick. Only reason you want to get to Web3 and go to metaverse, that's because we have a go beyond just getting the game played. So which is why focusing on the asset, focusing on the grinding for the asset, so the focus for the reallocating of the asset, and also like potentially bringing a sustainable ecosystem among the community. That's the proper focus, and that takes time to build. And even more so, like there are more conversations related to a common question we're facing discussing with other developers, where they came over saying, hey, what shade do you use? I mean, like, you asked the wrong question, right? The reason why is because with our firsthand experience being the front line on different L1s, we understand that there's no perfect chain. There's no such thing technology in blockchain is called perfect, i.e. it's everybody has their advantages, but everyone has their corners that will ignore some of the issues, and they may have different priorities. We cannot ask everyone to fix this immediately. So the key then the kind of question comes: how can we support them all? One key takeaway, I think everyone has done their own research, but one key takeaway is each chain, right? They want to work with different developers to enhance in terms of their political ecosystem. On the flip side, they just don't rely on like a success on each project. Their success based on the users increase, transaction increase, not necessarily individual product increase. Like they want their user increase, right? Because they're on a different agenda. So every L1, which for metaverse projects, only in terms of two purposes. One is the user base. Each chain can introduce a user base accordingly to according to their own user bases and track the user base towards the metaverse. On the other hand, as a liquidity, we can collaborate with all these liquidity providers, individuals to get the injection into the overall ecosystem. So that's why it takes another it took us a while to get our brains around to think it through. Like even nowadays, every day we have internal discussion on what's the right approach, why people would do that. Take another example, social. Like why social is important. You have social platforms, why metaverse social platform is different, and how that reflects towards the earn aspect of it and asset focused kind of behavior. There's a lot of things, thanks to the bear market, gives us time to really think through and adapt and adjust and iterate for the long term success.
Yep, GG's.
For real, I love it. We need to get like a podcast, Roy, where you just like pontificate about Web3 and metaverse for like ever. I'll just listen.
Definitely.
Thank you.
We definitely arranged
Appreciate
a session on that. Yeah, it's this is even though be quiet just because we're being busy, and we think it's well, before we launch during the market days, you can hear more from us. And I'm pretty confident the team we have here is one of the few leading elite teams in the industry. A lot of team it's the way I see the team scope. Like if a lot of team coming from Web 2 traditional console gaming, I would be very cautious on that. Like because if people develop on the console games, they would have a big kind of a how to say they have a big learning curve towards free to play. Like understanding human psychology and why people play free to play games, what people are looking for, and even like what metaverse is making it even worse. And to be honest, like if I can and just to talk a little bit about metaverse, we're not on Metaverse 1.0, guys. We're in a 2.0 stage. Very quickly, you see huge disruptive like products launching on the Metaverse side that completely blows people's mind. We can see some launches like these days still mimicking what we did back in the days in 2021. I think people are learning, right? But what do we see right now from the market, meaning not just the crypto folks? Like we need to think bigger. The mass market, they're learning metaverse, and mass market means the consumers, but also means the brands, but means like not only retails but also institutions. They coming from different demands, and what's there to be the supplier for that? That is a bigger question. And what do you stand in the middle to provide to supply and demand perspective? And that's the key. There's so much business to be discovered, so many parts, product components to be built. Definitely that's another 2 hour session.
Yeah. All right, word. Thank you. And I guess yeah, that's it. But just wanted to say, Meta, I don't know if you're where you are because I know you're everywhere now, but I'll be in San Francisco next week, so maybe we roll one up together or something.
Sure, yeah, we'll catch up offline, and once you're here, we'll definitely
I know you're busy, so yeah, exactly. I'll DM you or something, but
for sure. Sounds
all
good,
right,
man.
all right, sweet. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, yo. All right, we'll take these final 2 questions because we're slightly over and we gotta run into other meetings too. So, Spacey, quick one from you, and then Bullish.
Yeah, guys. Hey, I appreciate the. I'm driving, or I've been driving, so I missed some of what was said, and so I appreciate all the context of it and following back through of what you guys kind of said. And very bullish on everything that you've been saying. And we've had talks with this Meta about pivoting and all of that. So like, I understand the whole idea of pivoting. My question is basically the dates that you're setting, are they hard dates? Because I know, look, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. The community has been disappointed before with dates. So I don't want to be one of those things where you say, hey, things are going to happen this date, and this date. And then it hits that date. And then you're like, oh, well, we're going to be, 3 months from now. And look, I don't personally care about timelines. I don't. I think if it takes 2, 3, 4 years, I'm happy with that. But I know from a community standpoint, giving dates and missing them isn't ideal. And so I just kind of want to make sure, are these hard dates? Like these dates are going to happen, or is this we think they're going to happen dates?
For sure, that's a good question, and just
Yeah.
to iterate on that, the previous dates were also, it was never like we think they're going to happen. We did target them. Now, as we previously mentioned, based on the macro climate, those are purely business decisions that we decided to take and postponed it. Right now, these days we're much more confident about and where we're reaching, what we've done, or what we're seeing on the macro climate, the research we've been done, all the advisors, partners we've been talking to. I think to build the general consensus and the engagement level that we expect and that we'd like to launch these products, I think we're finally getting closer and closer. Thus, we provided these dates. Now, are they hard date? Yes, we're definitely trying to hit the exact dates as mentioned there, but that's why I haven't given a date like the 15th or 16th. It says mid-October, late October. Can it be a couple of days here and there? Sure. But all will be done for whatever's best for the product launch. Right? It's not because we can't hit the date, so let's just push it 3 months. I don't think that was our intent, and we're definitely not
Sure.
doing that.
Okay. Well, I appreciate the answer, and I'm sure the community does as well. Thank you very much.
Sure, good question. Appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, Bullish, last one from you.
Thank you. First of all, thanks for the presentation. It was very nice to see, and congrats for the development so far. And it was also nice to hear Frankie putting his audio part in it. I basically have 2 questions. I think one of them is very quick to answer. It's related to the blueprint reveals. Of course, you already said that it's about the 3D reveal about them, but I just would like to know if we get more information about the stats in general, like abilities and this kind of stuff.
Yeah, so about the stats and attributes is basically everything that has already been public, and I think that's all you would need so far to move forward with the current GameFi PvP card battler. As the real time comes in, we will display some of the stats that we haven't discussed about and how they will play into the real time PvP.
Okay, cool. And the second question is basically more referring to the free to play or free to play or play to earn approach. when I assume that this will of course happen after phase 4, and I don't really need a timeline or a specific time answer.
Yeah.
More like a momentum. When would it be the right timing to implement the free-to-play parts in this whole gaming ecosystem?
I think as previously stated, this will be post the GameFi part of the PvP as we start stepping into the alpha version of the real-time PvP. The free-to-play starts opening up, opening the gates for the masses, and they can come in and they can really interact and learn, socialize, and see how all of this works, how the ecosystem works, what the PvP mechanics are, what the GameFi is, and then they do have the options to try out different PvE events and then pour into the PvP.
So it will happen after that, right?
Excuse
Or
me?
already it will happen after that, or is it already implemented in the early 2023 period?
Yeah, that's the one. Early
Oh.
2020. Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank
Yeah,
you so much.
I like your PFP, man. I like the leaves flying around. It's epic.
Thanks.
Cool. Awesome. I think those are some really good questions. We will be in the chat. Just tag Tiki, tag myself hereafter, and we'll get back to any of the questions that we might have missed. I know I saw a couple other hands, but we're bound by time, so we'll probably have to go. Once again, thank you very, very much for taking the time being here. We really appreciate it. Any other questions, we can take them forward. Roy, any closing remarks from you?
Thanks everyone for coming by. I really appreciate your time. I know it's a bear market. We'll live through that, and it's the market is super bullish in terms of overall industry. You'll be shocked to see what we have to offer in the next couple of weeks, if not months. Keep in the community, and good job everyone on the team. It's great to see everything progressing thus far.
Yep. Lots of cool surprises incoming.
Yeah, totally.
All right, and thanks, Tiki. Thanks for all the logistics work for the presentation, Twitch, everything. Much appreciated, man.